What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Super Bowl Sunday edition of The Squeeze. I am Tyler Conium. Welcome to Super Bowl Sunday, the biggest sports betting day of the calendar. And as you can see here, we're not betting the Super Bowl today. Just kidding. Of course we are. However, I must preface this by saying you're not going to get crazy plus 5,000 parlays here. You're not going to get all the silly bets on here. Will I be making those bets? Definitely. Am I in a player prop playoff Super Bowl prop pool thing? Yes, definitely. But this is not what this video or podcast is about. We track all of our bets here. I'm not just going to throw away 3 units for no reason and recommend 3 ridiculous bets. If you want that, there are plenty of places to get that on the internet. And like I said, I will be partaking in all of the fun stuff here, but this podcast, this video is about winning bets, and that's what we want to do. We lost more bets yesterday than we won. We went 1-2, and we had the New Jersey Devils on the money line. They lost in a shootout. We had the Dallas Mavericks on the money line. They lost in overtime. That game I mentioned, the line moving if Luka played. We had that game at plus 108. It closed at plus 120, minus 127. A massive move. We had the money in good, and we lost in overtime. And then we did have Islam Makayev won in over 2.5 rounds. He won on a decision. So we went 1-2 with our 3+ bets. Not the best, not the worst. It is what it is. We're still around, I think, down 1 unit on the week, which is fine. So 3 bets today on the Super Bowl. And again, as I mentioned, and we also still do have Hideki Matsuyama, who is 1 stroke back of a top 20 finish at the Phoenix Open, which would be great. So, like I mentioned, I have two NFL bets today and 1 NBA bet. I will be posting other stuff on my Twitter today, I'm sure. But if you're looking for crazy, zany bets, that's not what you're going to find here. We are going to start in the NBA. We're going to start with the Boston Celtics and the Memphis Grizzlies. Only 2 games on the slate today. The other one is Toronto and Detroit. We'll be watching them both. So this game is going to be a great basketball game. It's a 2 p.m. tip-off in Boston. We've got the 40-16 Celtics taking on the 34-21 Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies have not been great on the road. They're 11-16 on the road this season. Boston is 22-7 at home. So as you can see, I'm taking the Boston Celtics on the spread. They're 4-point favorites. I'm going to take that for minus 110 at DraftKings. Celtics are on a 3-game winning streak. They're coming off a win against Charlotte. They're coming off a 7-point win against Philadelphia, coming off a road victory at Detroit. And then when you look at the Memphis Grizzlies, they've won 2 straight themselves. They beat Minnesota, they beat Chicago. But previous to that, they lost to Toronto. They lost at Cleveland. They lost to Portland. They beat Indiana. But before that, lost to Minnesota, lost to Golden State, lost at Sacramento, lost at Phoenix. They've been terrible on the road. They've lost their last 5 road games altogether. And they're only 3-7 in their last 10 games. Boston is not a team that you're going to turn around against. Yes, they are missing Jaylen Brown. Yes, they are missing Marcus Smart. But the Grizzlies are missing Steven Adams. He's been a big miss for them there, certainly. Boston Celtics are 4-0 ATS in their last 4 games versus a team with a winning percentage above 60. Celtics are 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games overall. Grizzlies are only 2-6 ATS in their last 8 meetings in Boston, and they're 4-10 ATS in their last 14 meetings overall. This is a big game for the Celtics. I like the Celtics to cover -4 today for minus 110 at FanDuel. Okay, now let's get to the Super Bowl. I've got 2 bets. I've got a player prop, and then I've got a teaser. We'll start with the player prop. We'll start with Travis Kelce. He's the most bet player, I think, of this game for anytime touchdown, for receiving yards. So you can say I'm keeping it simple. You can say I'm playing it safe. Well, I want to win bets. I want to win money. We're going to take Travis Kelce over 78.5 receiving yards. We got this for minus 110 at BetMGM. A lot of books have it at 79. Some have it at 80. So I just want to keep it simple there. Now you might say, geez, last week, 2 weeks ago against Cincinnati, he had 7 receptions. He had 78 yards. So it finished right there, right? Previous to that, he did have 98 against Jacksonville. And then the 2 games before that, he only had 38 against Vegas, 43 against Denver. But then he had 113, he had 105. Look, you can almost throw out all the trends. It's the Super Bowl. They've had 2 weeks off. The coaches, the players have been obsessing over this game. It almost never goes the way you think that it's going to. It's much different than, a Week 11 game at 1 o'clock on a Sunday. This is the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce is going to be the absolute focal point of the Kansas City Chiefs offense. Yes, he's going to be the focal point of the Philadelphia Eagles defense, but I do trust Andy Reid and his ability and Patrick Mahomes' ability to get it open, to get it to Kelce. There's going to be a lot of dinking and dumping. There's not going to be a lot of bombs. The one feeling I do have about this game, the over-under is set to 49.5. I think you're going to see a more lower scoring game here. I don't expect this game to be a super high scoring game, and I think Travis Kelce, I'm just looking up something quickly here, I think Travis Kelce is going to have a big game. I think he's going to have to get 100 yards. I think he's going to do a lot of the damage, and I think he's going to get it going early and often because the Chiefs are very well known. They score on opening drives all the time. So that is my expectation there. Not a lot of analysis. If you want to look at the trends, you can go ahead, but I like Travis Kelce over 78.5 receiving yards for -110 at BetMGM. Now, the main event is, of course, the game itself. So when you look at the live lines right now, you have got the Kansas City Chiefs are +1.5. The Eagles are -2.5 at some books, -1.5. They've now had the over-under set to, some have it even as high as 51.5 or 50.5. This to me is I don't know who's going to win this football game. I lean Chiefs. A lot of people lean Eagles. I don't know. What I do lean is it for it to be a lower scoring game. So I'm going to take the spread up to Kansas City +6.5. So takes away the field goal. Do they lose by a full touchdown? I don't think so. I think they probably win the game, but do they lose by a full touchdown? I don't think so. And will this game reach 60 points? I don't think so. You're crossing all the major thresholds there as well. When you look back at recent Super Bowls, last season it was Rams 23, Bengals 20, so 43 points. Previous to that, Tampa and Kansas City 31-9, so 40 points. Previous to that, Kansas City, San Francisco 31-20, that was 51 points. You had New England, Los Angeles, that was only a 16-point total. You have to go back to 2008 when Philadelphia beat New England 41-33 to the last time this game went over 60 points. New England and Atlanta, it did as well, but previous to that, Denver, Carolina, no. New England, Seattle, no. Seattle, Denver, no. Baltimore, San Francisco, yes. So only 3 times in the last 10 years has this game gone above 60 points. It is the Super Bowl. These two teams have exceptional defenses. Philadelphia has a second-ranked defense in the NFL on the season. They've played very, very well. I don't think you're going to see this insane high-scoring matchup that a lot of people are expecting. If you do want to look at how the teams have performed previously, so for Kansas City against Cincinnati, there was 43 points. Jacksonville, 47. Las Vegas had 43. They've gone under almost every time. The only time they did go over was against Denver, and that total was as low as 46.5. You look at Philadelphia, same deal. Last game out against San Francisco, there was 39 points. When it was 47.5, they went under. The last time they went over, that would have been over 60 points, was the Christmas Eve game at Dallas. So I'm going to combine those two together. It gives you a -125. It leaves you relatively stress-free. Are the Eagles going to blow out the Chiefs? I don't think this game is going to be a blowout on either side. This is a very even match game. But again, it's the Super Bowl. You never know. Anything can happen. But as we have seen with the scores traditionally, I mean, the Tampa Bay Kansas City game was a little bit of a blow, but previous to that, you know, Denver beat Carolina by 2 touchdowns. Seattle destroyed Denver in 2014, but we're going back so far. I think this is going to be a close game. So let's parlay it. Chiefs 6.5, under 59.5 gives us -125. So let's run back this Super Bowl Sunday card. I like the Boston Celtics -4 for -110 at FanDuel. I like Travis Kelce to get over 78.5 receiving yards for -110 at BetMGM. And I like the Kansas City Chiefs +6.5, under 59.5 for a 2-leg parlay for -125 at FanDuel, paying the juice on all of those bets. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Tyler Connium for more picks and props throughout the day. TikTok and Instagram for just the picks portions. Audio versions available on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Let's enjoy the Super Bowl, the last football game of the year, and then tomorrow we're back at it with something else. So let's talk sports.